Every team that's here really fought hard and has worked hard to be here.
Every meet that you have competed in so far is building up to this one, and I think that it's going to take everything that we have.
We just have done this our whole life. It's all we know, so it's huge leading up to a competition like nationals.
If you want to be the best, you have to compete against the best.
We've got great teams that we're going to go against. They're going to give it their all. We're going to give it our all.
It's going to take a total team effort, and it's going to take a team that's just on.
Competing for a national title is something that, you know, we all just kind of dream about, and now it's time to do it.
It is going to be intense.
All of these teams are loaded with talent, and we're all gunning for the same thing.
We're peaking at the right time, and that's just how it should be.
We're in the best possible spot we can be in, and we're ready to kill it.
Perseverance,
consistency,
determination, passion, intensity,
Fire.
That's what it takes to become a national champion.
The NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships, presented by Northwestern Mutual. Welcome inside the Chaffetz Arena on the campus of St. Louis University for our live coverage of the 2017 Women's NCAA Gymnastics Championships. The top 12 teams had advanced to this championship weekend, competing in two separate sessions. Semifinal one was earlier today. Oklahoma, UCLA, and Utah advanced to tomorrow night's Super 6 finals based on the results from that session. We're set now for semifinal 2, which features 4 SEC teams: LSU, Florida, Alabama, and Georgia, plus Big Ten powers Michigan and Nebraska. The top 3 teams from this session will advance to the Super 6 final tomorrow night as well. Hi everybody, I'm Bart Connor along with Kathy Johnson-Clark, my fellow Olympic medalist. You know, the story in the first semifinal was who was going to make it. The story tonight might be more about who's not going to make it.
Well, if you thought the last semifinals was intense, this one could be a nail-biter with 4 powerhouse SEC teams and 2 Big Ten teams. A great team is not going to make it out of semifinals. That is just the harsh reality of this semifinals.
Now, based on their consistency this season, we have to be looking at LSU to be the favorite tonight.
They have absolutely had an intense, wonderful season from meet 1. They've scored a 197 plus in 20 straight meets. That is a huge score. Ranked number 1 or number 2 in the overall rankings. They've been here before, though. They have been the favorites. We have seen them not get out of semifinals. We've seen them play second. But this year they did something they haven't done since 1981, and that was win the SEC championships. They burst through that barrier finally, so maybe, just maybe, that's a predictor that they can blast through the glass ceiling here.
Well, LSU has yet to win the national championship, but 3 of the SEC teams in this competition have done so. Let's take a look at that. Tonight, we're going to see Georgia, Alabama, and Florida, and they have won a combined 19 NCAA championships. What a thrilling team competition tonight. And as it turns out, you mentioned one great team is not going to make it through. Lots of pressure on these young ladies.
I can tell you the one who wants to really ruin the SEC party, and that is Michigan. They are in a position to maybe grab that 3rd spot.
Michigan is ranked number 5 in the country, and they are outstanding as well. Let's go down to Laura Rutledge for more.
Yeah, Bart, Michigan's motivation to get back here actually started this time last year when they had 3 individual competitors for their team here: Talia Shirelli, Brianna Brown, and Nicole Arts. And those 3 made a pact that they would get back here, but it would be with the rest of their team this time. And that's exactly what they did. They said missing out on NCAAs last year lit a fire under them. It stung sitting there watching their fellow teammates from home, and they wanted to come back as a full team. So now they say, hey, look, we get it. We're in a tough semifinal. Nicole Art's telling me we are ready for whatever comes our way. We are ready to take on the challenge, and we think we can do it. They're in a situation where they feel really confident, and Bart, they have a no-holds-barred attitude for tonight.
Thank you very much, Laura Rutledge. When we come back to St. Louis, competition begins in the first of 6 rotations.
The NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships is presented by Northwestern Mutual. We help you live life differently.
For the 2017 Women's NCAA Gymnastics Championships. Now, let's take a look at how teams in semifinal 2 plan for success, brought to you by Northwestern Mutual.
Think minimize, maximize, and capitalize. All of these teams have strengths and weaknesses, events where they can go big and score big. They have to take advantage of that, maximize that score. On their weaker events, minimize any deductions, hit as perfectly as they possibly can, don't hold back. Then if there are mistakes made, you need to capitalize on that and really take advantage of a situation where you can walk through a door that somebody else has opened for you.
I am set for the drama tonight. I hope you all are as well. Take a look at this, folks. It's a 4-ring circus, so you can watch your favorite team all night long on the All Around channel, which is available on Watch ESPN. We'll cover every competitor on every apparatus on the All Around channel, so make sure you pull up a second screen to enhance your viewing experience of these national championships. We are going to open up on the beam here in this first of 6 rotations. Sabrina Vega, the outstanding freshman for Georgia.
She has added so much to this balance beam rotation. She is very aggressive, very pretty on this event. Technically, she has great execution, form, and she needs to really set the pace for the team here.
You notice with the scoring bug down there, of course there's no scores in yet, but Michigan and LSU are on byes in this first rotation. So the 4 teams on the floor are Florida, Nebraska, Georgia, and Alabama. Kathy, we've seen Georgia a couple of times this season, and almost the trajectory is the same every year. A little hot and cold throughout the regular season, but they tend to get it together by the time of the Nationals.
One thing they have not done this season is score a 197 on the road. This is an opportunity to really put together a big meet at an away meet, and it's a big one. This semifinal's a little off on that leap. So she connected the next 2 together to get that requirement taken care of. Oh, little bobble on the full turn, covered it pretty well.
Georgia ranked 10th in the country coming into these national championships.
Long pause before the aerial cartwheel full dismount. A little bit of a bounce on the landing, but a hit routine to start Georgia off.
Amelia Huntley just a moment ago got things started for Florida. They open up on the vault.
And they need a great start on this because this is a huge event for Florida. This is their first vault, Yurchenko vault, and a stick.
Danielle Breen for Nebraska now on the bars. Taylor Houchin before her, a 9.875 career high to lead it off for the Cornhuskers here in the first rotation. The Cornhuskers ranked 14th in the country coming into this championship.
They have a good rotation. They start here on bars where they are very clean. They did have a fall at regionals on this routine, but so far, she just nailed a little close on that dismount to the high bar.
There is Dan Kendick, the head coach. I spoke to them before the meet, and I said, what has to go well for you to be a contender? He said, we were shaky on the bars in the warm-ups, so we need to hit bars.
Really nice job finding that land. A little stiff-legged, but she wanted it so badly she fought.
Winter Childers from Alabama set to go on the floor, the freshman from Spearfish, South Dakota.
This is a great event for Alabama to try and jump out to the front. They're very strong here, good performers.
This is the event where they're ranked 3rd in the country. This is the highest of the 4 events in terms of their national ranking.
Nice control on full twisting double back, showing good difficulty. These top teams really want to show those E passes, the most difficult tumbling passes in their first run.
Kathy, we talked before the meet. Alabama has been something of a mystery this year.
Absolutely. They've been hot and cold. There have been times we've seen greatness from them and times they have faltered. We also know them to be a team that really peaks at the right time. They have always directed everything toward being on the floor in the Super 6, and they try to peak right at that time.
6 times Alabama has won the national championship. Of course, for many years under the leadership of Sarah and David Patterson. Now the head coaches Dana Duckworth and Brian Rochilla, co-head coaches, associate head coach Rochilla, doing a nice job with this program.
We talk about a nice job. Winter Childers as a young freshman and really making a nice transition into college gymnastics.
Boy, that has really been a running theme all year long. The impressive freshmen coming out of high-level club gymnastics, moving right into college and making contributions.
Absolutely, doing a great job of it. Really trying to control the bounce of this very springy floor on the podium. Excellent job of absorbing that landing.
You mentioned the springy floor. Ari Guerra had a 9-7 in the leadoff for Alabama. She went out of bounds. So we've seen more than a few gymnasts have trouble containing that explosive power and not stepping over the line. Kennedy Baker for Florida getting set to go. Florida doesn't have the depth of a lot of these teams. In fact, tonight they are competing 4 young ladies in the all-around. Many teams have 1 or some 2, but Florida, literally 16 of their 24 scores come from just 4 athletes.
Yes, they don't have depth in numbers of gymnasts, but the routines they have are very, very good. Kennedy Baker has been in and out of the lineup. She rolled her ankle at one point on a curb, of all things, not in the gym, but she's back in the lineup on all 4 events, and she is really at a very good place to have a great competition.
All-American last year at the national championships on this event.
She does a 1.5. This is an advantage that Florida has. They're going to throw 4 of them. Oh. Wow! Look at that. She held on to the landing. They'll take just a little bit of a deduction because there was an adjustment there. Balance more than anything. She might have been a tad short of the rotation, but nice block, lifted up. Head was above the level, and look how her tight in that core. She was not going to let herself lose her balance.
Had a 9.925 at the SEC championships this year. Katie Bailey opening up on the floor for Alabama. Winter Childers, a terrific 9.85.
Katie went back to this floor routine that she had done previously. It just suits her, really fits her like a glove. Not only are the judges looking for the big tumbling passes and control on landing, but on these leaps right here, they really want to see a full split in the air, and the turning leaps are more difficult. They get bonus points for combining them and making sure they get the rotation all the way around to get credit.
And let's welcome everybody who's just joining us here for the 2017 Women's NCAA Gymnastics Championship. We are in semifinal 2 in St. Louis at the Chaifetz Arena, and 6 teams are trying to earn 3 spots to advance to the Super 6 finals tomorrow night.
They're midway through the first rotation. That's the 3rd gymnast up for Alabama on the floor exercise. They're off to a really good start.
4 outstanding SEC teams in this rotation and 2 powerhouses from the Big Ten, Michigan and Nebraska. Here's Alicia Bourne from Florida.
Also performing a 1.5 twist, just like her teammate Kennedy Baker. This time perfectly balanced and controlled on the landing. Big amplitude. She had it all in that vault.
In terms of national rankings, this is where Florida is 2nd. This is their highest ranking event in the NCAA.
She just timed the block so beautifully. Slight leg separation there. Finishes the flip and the twist above the table. And a great landing.
Kennedy Baker had a 9.8875, Sierra Alexander a 9.8125, and Amelia Hunley a 9.85. So scores for Florida in this first rotation on the vault, very impressive. Seemed like earlier in the day the scores were a little tight. Landings seemed to be critical, and Florida is really controlling the landing.
Landings are critical. However, the judges are also seeing the form on the pre-flight and the height and the explosiveness off the table.
Maddie Desch on the floor now for Alabama. Katie Bailey, before her, had a 9.875. Winter Childers a 9.85 and Ari Guerra a 9.7.
Nice Arabian double front, brought her head forward just a little bit, but was able to control the landing.
And mounting the bars at the same time, Jenny Lang. Nebraska on the bars doing a nice job. Lang is their final performer. They have to replace a score of 9.325. Otherwise, their scores have all been in the 9.8 range.
Lang is very capable of a big score. Nice dismount over there to finish a solid routine for Nebraska.
So 5 hit routines on the opening rotation for the Cornhuskers. Nicely done.
Alabama has 2 scores well into the 9.8s, a 9.85 and a 9.875. They want to start building on those as close as they can bump into that 9.9 range and hopefully get some scores over 9.9.
Maddie Desch, another one of those freshmen entering the collegiate competition. She is an alternate to the 2014 World Championship team for the U.S.
She was just a little bit sluggish on the lift into that double back, but she handled it and got a good landing.
Just a moment ago for Florida, Rachel Slocum, a transfer on vault. Alicia Bourne before her had a 9.9.
This is an exciting vault. Pike front half, and she just has the most remarkable way of finding a landing.
And Alex McMurtry, one of the best vaults in the country. Here it comes.
Double twist. Nailed it. That is maybe the best vault she has ever done, and she has the most spectacular technique when she hits it.
Unreal.
Gorgeous.
She really launched it off the table this time, didn't she?
Perfect push, block, and she keeps lifting her core. Tight body, looks for the landing, finds it.
Few people land with their chest so high.
Move. Chest up.
A little
and
form break
move.
in the air, but let's just look and see how high she gets.
Straight body. Look at this, 6 feet up above the table.
She's essentially 10 feet in
and
the air at that point.
And she lands with her chest up and 8.5 feet, almost 9 feet out.
And
from
her
the
feet
table.
are glued to the mat like a dart going into a dartboard. Unreal. Florida lights out in the first rotation on vault. They've already had 2 9.9s for Bourne and Slocum. Asia Sims, the senior out of Orlando, on Florida for Alabama. Once again, it's a 4-ring circus, 4 events going simultaneously.
This is such a crowd-pleasing routine, especially when she performs it at home in front of the Alabama fans. Opens with a pike double back. Now she doesn't do the big E tumbling pass, but she lights up the dance and the choreography.
Okay, the score is in for Alex McMurtry for Florida on the ball. Here it is, a 9.975. Remember, at these championships, there are 6 judges. High and low scores thrown out, 4 scores averaging in the middle, so that's why the scores are going out to the 10,000ths of a point.
Whoa, she pulled that out. Managed a very stuck landing, just a little bit low on the front pike.
Florida has the best score of the meet so far across all events for all teams, and they just got a great start on ball.
Beautiful control on all of her landings, showed off her leaps and jumps. Well, that's a routine that sparkles as much as their leotard. Well done.
Vivi Bobalis on the beam now for Georgia. Let's update you on their score. Their highest score, Haley Sanders, 9.7375. They've had 2 9.65 for Sabrina Vega and Morgan Reynolds. So not terribly impressive scores for Georgia here in this first rotation.
They've been shaky. Vivi, however, is really stepping it up in terms of confidence. Very aggressive approach to this routine.
Ashlyn Broussard's score is in at 9.6375. Put on to Laura Rutledge.
Yeah, Bart, over here watching this Georgia beam rotation, they've shown some nerves. They've had a few balance checks, although they have hit the routines. Now, they're in a situation where they really tried to make sure that their training is what's on display here. They had their last team practice on Tuesday. They said, we're leaving it all in the gym, and we're going to come here with no regrets.
Thank you, Laura. Of course, starting on beam is not always the choice of the teams because they're already nervous, and this is a clutch event.
Best routine she's done all season, I think. Really aggressive attack. So confident. Good for her.
Here are the scores after the first of 6 rotations. Florida spectacular, averaging over 9-9 in the first rotation on ball. Alabama outstanding on floor. Nebraska did a respectable job on bars. And Georgia, unfortunately, struggled in the opening rotation on the beam.
Florida did exactly what they had to do. This was an event they needed to maximize. They performed floor 10-0 vaults, came near perfection with Rachel Slocum. Huge scores, and Alex McMurtry finally put everything together. Her perfect technique, her explosiveness, her kinesthetic awareness to find that landing, nailed it.
You know, it's funny, it looks like she wanted to take a step, but she couldn't. It was like she was
too
glued
perfect.
to the mat.
Opened up, saw it, felt it, and then showed it off.
For Nebraska on the bar, Sienna Krause ended up with a 9.325 after this really uncharacteristic
Absolutely,
mistake.
but they rallied back and hit some routines. This shows the fight of a gymnast. Jenny Lang came back with a 9.825. Found the landing there.
5
back
hit
on track.
routines for Nebraska out of 6. That's all they need. Morgan Reynolds started the challenges for Georgia on this event.
Fortunately, they got bit by the beam, and it was not kind to them.
Same story for
Only
Ashlyn
a
Broussard.
beautiful gymnast on this event, just a little bit rattled. Their confidence and their nerves, and as Coach said, they were trying to be so perfect. You have to be normal. Trust your training and repeat it. They'll be back on the next event. They've got to really step it up.
Alabama on one of their finest events, Asia Sims delivered.
Just really sparkled on this event. Was a tiny bit short on her tumbling passes, but she finessed the landing so well. Kiana Winston tumbled and danced beautifully. Finished strong for Alabama. They can feel good about going into the bye or going over to the vault, another high-flying event.
And when we come back, rotation 2 coming up next. LSU starts their competition where they're outstanding on the floor, and Michigan opens up on the bar. From Westchester, Ohio.
She missed 8 meets out with an injury, back in the lineup in the last 4 meets, and it has really been a boost to their bar lineup.
Last year's Big Ten Bars champion.
Really want to watch for their single bar release move to see how high they fly over the bar and if they can turn it over and make that regress with straight arms. She did that very well. You want to really see straight arms throughout the entire bar routine. Straight arms, no shoulder angle, no sag in the back. To really do the best technique. That's the line you want to see. This mount is a double layout. Boy, she launched it up there, had to pike down a little bit, but found the landing. She's happy.
She's thrilled with that. The young lady who did her club training at Cincinnati Gymnastics.
Let's see if she is a high flyer. Pretty darn good. Almost 2 feet above the bar. Nice distance when she regressed. And this always puts a smile on your face. No movement on the landing.
Moments ago, Nikki Guerrero for Alabama on the vault after Katie Bailey's 9.8875.
Nikki does a 1.5 twist, start value of 10. Trying to take advantage of that, just a little half hop on the landing.
Remember, folks, it's a 4-ring circus, so if you want to see every routine from your favorite team, go to the internet, create your own second screen experience on Watch ESPN. So you can watch our coverage on the broadcast, but you'll not miss any routines from your favorite team if you launch a second screen and go to Watch ESPN. McNear for Alabama on the vault now. Guerrero's 9.8, 6.25 is in.
Performing a 1.5 twist.
Nice.
Found a really nice landing, just a slight hop, depending on what that looks like from the side. The judges are sitting on the side of the vault. They can really see if there's movement on the landing.
Alabama has had an outstanding start on 2 of the events where they're traditionally very good. Floor and vault. Brianna Brown, by the way, from Michigan, her score is in. It's a 9-9, so Michigan off to a really nice start on bars. Sarah Finnegan now, the sophomore from Lee Summit, Missouri for LSU. She's coming up after Maya Hambrick notched a 9.95.
Not surprised there. I watched Maya in the warm-ups and she just was nailing every tumbling pass. Sarah Finnegan would like to do the same.
She's the number 2 team in the country on this event. Consistent as always.
Watch this 1.5 twist through to 2.5 twist. Kind of a big step there. She covered it well. Sarah's dance is just so beautiful. One of the best dancers in collegiate gymnastics. So clean with her form.
I love the pointed toes and that tuck double back somersault. That shows the attention to detail. Finnegan, another former international elite competitor for the U.S. team.
Those leaps were spectacular. The picture in the air, she's a photographer's dream. Perfect toes, perfect split. Needs to go hard here, drive the arms, lift. Nice lift. That was the best pike double she's done at the end of her routine all season long.
Oh my
what a
goodness,
way to finish.
Perfect form, and she landed nearly straight up and down. Oh my goodness. Dee Dee Bro there in her 40th year at LSU, the dean of coaches in the SEC. Moments ago, Paige Zaziski on the bars for Michigan. They have back-to-back 9.9s after Brown's Nicole Arts followed up with one as well.
That is huge. A little bit off on that full pirouette. Oh no, completely off. She was off on the full pirouette. She's supposed to go right into her release move. She'll do it here.
Michigan already has 5 terrific scores, 2 of them being 9.9. Zaziski, the transfer from Arkansas.
And who's done a tremendous job all season long for Michigan. Coming up short here, really unfortunate. But they have so many big scores leading into that, they could probably absorb that.
Grace Williams on the beam for Nebraska. All of their scores, 9.825 to 9.875. It was on the beam at the regional championships, and once again, how many times have we seen Nebraska hit clutch beam routines to advance? Heather Brink, the coach of Nebraska on beam, has a knack for getting these young ladies to hit.
And it was Grace Williams who breathed life back into them after Jenny Lang fell on beam at regionals.
We're bringing in McKenna Kelly on the floor for LSU. The score for Sarah Finnegan, 9.95. So they have back-to-back 9.95 for Hambrick and Finnegan.
McKenna Kelly, known for her explosive tumbling. She opened with a double layout, now comes back with a full twisting double back. So much difficulty, and she does it in open position.
Storyline so far, of course, Florida came out with strong vault, but now LSU and Michigan answering with impressive work here in the second rotation. Meanwhile, Alabama has been solid top to bottom in their first 2 rotations, floor and vault.
waiting for this final tumbling run. It's a front through to a double back. As I said, lots of difficulty in her tumbling. Great landings. Great job. Tumbling was so spectacular. And there's Mom. She is thrilled to see that. Mary Lou Retton, our teammate.
Yes, the mother of McKenna Kelly, and you can see where the power comes from.
Oh, absolutely. Same pass her mom did. Double layout. Just lays it out, finds the landing. Her landings this year are so much better. And then comes back with a very difficult, watch this, full twisting double back, never touches her legs, completely open.
And Mary Lou Retton and family proud of McKenna here in the opening rotation. And they're not done, because guess what? Ashley Nat will finish out the rotation for LSU, and their scores have already been outstanding. Even impressed Mary Lou Retton. Danielle Breen finishing up for Nebraska here on the beam. All of their scores are 9.825 and up. So while Georgia struggled in beam in the first rotation, Nebraska got a great start on bars, and they're doing a very respectable job here on the clutch event, the beam.
Oh, and she came up with a clutch routine at regionals, really saved the day. Got them here. One arm back handspring, layout step out. Notice how aggressively they're attacking those skills.
Let's go to Laura Rutledge.
Yeah, Kathy mentions the aggressiveness for this Nebraska beam team. They say this is what they pride themselves on. When they need to, they can bring up great routines on the beam, and they said right before they got on beam, let's do what we do. The best is watching Dan Kindig's reaction as they hit these routines off on the side. He's not the beam coach, but he is very involved.
Heather Brink responsible for getting this team in competitive shape on beam. Score coming in now for McKenna Kelly. That's the third straight 9.95 for LSU. Hambrick, Finnegan, and Kelly. And guess what? The best is yet to come, because their anchor performer is Ashley Nat.
Great job for Nebraska on balance beam. That is a thrill to see them pull that out.
Here she comes. The AAI award winner, which is essentially the Heisman Trophy of gymnastics, to the top senior student athlete.
And I have to say, just watching her skip onto the floor into this routine, that tells you who Ashley Nat is, or Bugs as they call her. Flying through the air, double layout. This is someone who loves this sport, loves her team, loves LSU, puts everything she's got.
And she's the second gymnast in a row from LSU whose mom is an Olympian, because her mom, Joan Moore, was in the 1972 Olympics. Her dad, Ray Nat, an All-American at LSU.
Beautiful control on the 2.5 twist to punch front.
Score in for Danielle Breen for Nebraska on beam, an outstanding 9.9.
What I really like about this team this year in particular, they went to work and they focused on all the little details, trying to fix every tiny little thing as best they could.
Oh my.
Look at the landing on the pike double back, just a phenomenal finish.
Oh, what are you gonna do?
Rotation.
So
I have
three
no
9.95s in a row, and then that. There's Mom. Joan Moore,
And she is a judge.
1972 Olympic gymnast. She's a judge and she's giving a 10, but guess what? Mom's scores
Right.
don't count.
No, they get thrown out. Just fabulous tumbling throughout. Sky high, double layout. I think she's powered by a smile and something deep within, such a spirit in this young lady.
So impressed all season long with the conditioning of the LSU athletes. Even at the end of the routine, they are landing their tumbling run, standing virtually straight up and down. Such a fit and powerful team. Remember, 3 9.95s in a row, a 9.9 in the leadoff for Sydney Ewing. The score they're going to drop is a 9.8875 from Shea Zamardi, because certainly Ashley Nat will outdo that. What an opening rotation for the number 2 team in the country. Scores coming in. It's a 9.9625. Once again, out to the 10,000ths of a point, because we have 6 judges, high score and low score thrown out. 4 scores in the middle are average. It takes an Einstein to come up with a number like that. But however you get there, it's all good for LSU. The second highest floor score in NCAA championship history, and they're just getting started. Presented by Northwestern Mutual, as we continue our semifinal number 2 coverage here on ESPN. ESPNU will still showcase our all-around channel featuring all 4 apparatus at once. We're thrilled to welcome our ESPN audience here in semifinal 2. This is the big weekend in women's gymnastics. Here are the team average scores at this point in the competition. Getting set for the 3rd rotation, LSU had an incredible performance, the 2nd highest floor score in NCAA history, and Florida off to an outstanding start on the vault as well.
Absolutely, and the reason we're showing you these average scores is because there are 6 teams, so every rotation 2 teams are off the floor, out on a bye, so they may not have competed as many events as the others. We want to keep you abreast of where they are on pace to score. When you see those high 9.95, 9.94, 9.9 scores, those are big, and that's what they're shooting for.
Let's take a look at the highlights in the last rotation. Katie Bailey for Alabama on the vault.
She came up with a big one for the team and for herself. A beautiful job on her Yurchenko half. Blind landing, you would have never known it.
Keely McNear. Now, this is 2 rotations in a row for Alabama that were impressive. They were great on floor as well.
What was great to see is they were so much better than they were at the regionals to qualify here. They're off to a great start.
Excellent start for Michigan on the bars as well, the number 7 team in the country. Brianna Brown had a 9.9.
Rejoined the lineup midway through the season, and they are so happy to have her back with a 9.9.
All-arounder Nicole Arts got a 9.9 as well.
Huge scores to finish up this rotation. And all because of stuck landings like that, they're doing their job.
Nebraska has had 2 terrific rotations. They opened up on the bars, and then they were solid on the beam.
It was particularly good to see they did not warm up well on the bars. They pulled out a decent rotation, but they were tough as could be on balance beam.
And LSU just killed it on the floor.
They went lights out. 3 9.95s, beginning with Maya Hambrick. Sarah Finnegan, beautiful as always, elegant. So much twisting in that first tumbling pass. McKenna Kelly has as much power and difficulty in her tumbling as anyone in the competition. And she controlled every landing to set up Ashley Nat to do one of the most extraordinary routines she's done all season. And she has been spectacular all season long.
It's the best score in floor for LSU in school history. What a start we have here in St. Louis. We're glad you've all joined us. Coming up, rotation 3. And Nebraska have both done 2 events. The 4 teams below them, LSU, Florida, Michigan, and Georgia, have only done 1 because there are 6 teams, 4 events, 2 teams are on byes every rotation. We are in for a thrilling night of gymnastics, and for more on LSU, let's go to Laura.
Yeah, Bart, this LSU team has a really interesting mantra thanks to their head coach, Dee Dee Bro, in her 40th season. She wants them to pretend like they're in a boat tonight. She said we have to row at the same strength because if one side is rowing too hard, we're just going to go in circles. She told them she wants them to shoot the rapids, which, by the way, I had to look up what that means exactly. It's basically going very quickly over fast waters that may have rocks in them. So they may face challenges, but they are prepared for that, Bart, as they have been all season long.
Oh, thank you, Laura. Yes, Dee Dee Bro, one of the most quotable coaches in all of sports in her 40th season.
Someday there's going to be a book, I tell you what, and it's going to call Dee Dee-isms.
Okay, Florida is on the bars now. They were incredible on vault. Alicia Boren leads them off here in their second rotation for them.
It's a great lead-off routine for Florida. Very tight body on the swing. Double layout. Nails the landing.
They're
Excellent
ranked
start.
fourth in the country on the bars. Sarah Finnegan will lead it off for LSU on the vault.
And she does a full start value of 995. It's usually very pretty, very clean. Oh, almost got the stick. Her chest was a little bit forward. Took a little shuffle with the foot forward.
Looks like she might have been trying just a bit too hard for the stick.
Easy to do that. You then get ahead of yourself and don't go big enough on the vault to put
Once
yourself
again,
in position to stick.
This is a 4-ring circus, 4 events going simultaneously, 2 teams on buys.
It's really important that these teams can stay in their bubble, but create their own energy, use the energy of the crowd. This is a great crowd, and it can really fuel and inspire them if they use it.
Florida has won the NCAA championship 3 times. They don't have the depth and the luxury of the depth as some of the other teams. In fact, of their team, 4 gymnasts are competing in the all-around, which means 16 of their 24 final scores actually come from just 4 athletes. But that's been typical for Florida, and they've had success doing it.
Absolutely, and they have 4 great all-around gymnasts with lots of international experience.
Their head coach is Jenny Rowan in just her 2nd season. Last year's SEC champions.
Just a tiny bit short on that transition to low bar, maybe a little short on that final handstand. Very clean leg form, however. Look at that, toes pointed, knees together in the dismount. Nice landing.
Florida has had the luxury of recruiting several national team members into their program. In fact, 6 young ladies on the team have represented their countries in their national championships, including 5 kids from the U.S. and 1 from Canada. Moments ago, Maya Hambrick for LSU.
She does her 1.5 and finally got the stick she's been looking for all season. There was a little adjustment. She might have been a tiny bit short of rotation, but she managed to pull it all the way around.
It looks like the landing actually surprised her.
And only moved that 1 foot ever so slightly back.
Sarah Finnegan had a 9.75 in their leadoff, which is the lowest score of the night we've seen for LSU. Maya Hambrick scores, comes in 9.8, 6.25. Sydney Ewing, you see in the upper left box there, will be the next vaulter for LSU. Florida's on the bars.
Paige Zaziski on the balance beam from Michigan.
This is Rachel Gowie. The first 2 Florida performers, Alicia Boren and Megan Chant, both had 9.8, 6.25.
And it was Rachel who had the weird miss on the uneven bars right there on that release move at regionals. No problem here, though. Does her second release down to low bar. Nice to see a little extra difficulty in this routine. Good, strong handstand at the end. If she can get the stick on the double layout, well done. It's one of the best routines she's done this season.
Just moments ago for LSU on the vault, Sydney Ewing.
Another 1.5 twist, so another 10-0 start value vault for LSU. See if she can get the landing. Look at that.
Yikes.
Right there. Beautiful, perfect landing, really. Now what the judges have to do, though, is really take into consideration everything. The block, the height, the distance, the form. Nice tight legs there. Even kept him straighter than she usually does. And that landing was picture perfect.
Okay, we're going to the beam for Michigan next. Lexi Funk. They're getting a couple of comments from Bev Plocky, the longtime head coach of the number 7 Michigan Wolverines.
And this was the first event that Lexi competed in her college career. It was a little shaky the first few meets, but she's found her rhythm and confidence in the last half of the season.
In her 28th season, one of many coaches on the floor here were former outstanding gymnasts in college. In fact, she competed for Alabama a few years ago. I believe 10 of the 12 coaches here all have had experience in collegiate competition. Update the scores there for Michigan. Olivia Karras led them off with a 9.85. Paige Zaziski a 9.8875. This is the freshman Lexi Funk from Aurora, Illinois.
So far, nice job on her series. Good landing.
Scores coming in for Sydney Ewing's vault, a huge 9.9625.
Cat leap into an aerial cartwheel. Unfortunately, a fall, 0.5 of a point deduction. So midway through this rotation, this is the score they will like to drop. Still have to finish strong because, again, you don't know what's going to happen. Every 10th of a point counts, even on a broken routine, so you fight for everything.
Good time to update our new audience on the competition format here. 4 events, 6 athletes compete on each team on each event, but you count just the best 5 scores on that event towards your team total. So if there is a mistake, you need 5 solid scores towards the team total. A moment ago, this happened for Florida on the bars. Kennedy Baker.
Oh no, came up short on her double front. She's had such good fortune on this event with that routine.
Baker, one of the all-arounders competing for Florida. That's a surprise because the first 3 scores were all 9.8625 and above. A moment ago, Kennedy Edney on vault for LSU.
She is the one that inspired their fire-breathing dragon with a vault just like that. The mouth flew open. Coach Didi said it looked like a fire-breathing dragon. She attacked it in the same way. Very nice height. Great control on the landing.
Her first vault as a freshman for LSU was a 9.95. What a way to start a career for LSU's Kennedy Edney. Her father, of course, Tyus Edney, the former standout basketball player for UCLA, and now working with basketball operations for the Bruins. And the score is in a 9.9875. Ashley Natt, we saw her thrilling performance on the floor. She'll anchor the vault as well. Edney's score is a career high.
Check this out, it's a double twist. Oh, just a little bit forward, hop forward. We've seen her nail those landings for huge scores throughout the season. Nonetheless, it was a great vault. She has worked so hard on improving this very difficult vault throughout the season, cleaned up her form, is getting good height, didn't quite get the distance this time, so she lands a little close to the table with her chest forward and has to hop a little.
And for the judges, it really appears that the landing is a priority, and so vaults that are cleanly stuck have scored extremely well so far at these championships. Kennedy Edney's 9.9875 an example. What you're looking at is the all-around channel, quad box, 4 events going simultaneously. If you want to watch that, you can change over to ESPNU. We're using the all-around channel on that network. Alex McMurtry in an important routine here for Florida. Kennedy Baker had a 9.2125. Amelia Hundley before her 9.8625.
We've already seen her do the best vault in the competition with the double twist. She is going for perfection here, hitting those handstands right on top of the bar. Huge release move, nice height. This is typically a huge dismount, way above the bar, and an excellent landing, again near perfection.
Great routine. Let's check out her handstand positions.
She can really hit these handstand positions, and she can fly. I love the height. First of all, she hits that handstand almost a little too far, but watch this, way up above the bar. Even on the dismount, finishes it above the height of the bar, finds the landing and nails it.
So after the botched landing for Kennedy Baker, they will obviously replace that score with whatever McMurtry gets. So Florida will come through with 5 outstanding scores on bars after their super impressive opening rotation on the vault. Moments ago, Rachel Dixon for Georgia on the floor. She had a sprained ankle at the SEC Championships.
And she's been out of the lineup on this event, so they put her back in. They really needed this routine, but she hasn't had the practice.
So the troubles continue, unfortunately, for the 10-time national champions, the Georgia Gym Dogs. After a shaky start on the beam, it's not going particularly well on the floor. Alex McMurtry's score on bars is in, a 9.95, so that will replace Kennedy Baker's 9.2125. So 5 great scores for Florida in the second rotation for them.
So far, Michigan has the 1 fall in the 3rd spot. So that's the score they would like to drop. They have to be aggressive. Beautiful floaty back handspring layout and goes right into a split jump. Lovely.
After Lexi Funk's fall, 9.215, Nicole Arts, the very balanced all-around gymnast, came back with a 9.875.
Such beautiful work. Very soft on the landings, very graceful.
As she's completing her beam routine, Sydney Sneed starting her floor routine for the Gym Dogs of Georgia on floor.
The dismount for Lauren. Really nicely done, double twist, good routine.
Laura Rutledge has more on our Sydney Sneed.
Yeah, Bart, you hear a lot of these gymnasts talk about staying inside their team bubble. Sydney Sneed's different. She likes to feed off the crowd. She said when she's in these types of environments, she actually welcomes the cheering and just pretends like they're cheering for her, even if they're actually cheering for somebody else. She said it really works for her.
Thank you, Laura. Sydney Sneed, the sophomore from Raleigh, North Carolina. She's known as a gamer. Very confident.
And like Alex McMurtry, she's had to manage a back issue throughout her career.
Georgia had 3 very strong 9.8s or better in the first 3 performances, so Rachel Dixon obviously hobbled by that ankle injury. That low score of a 9.1875 will likely be dropped, but Sydney Sneed will get a good score and they'll wrap it up for Georgia on floor with hopefully their 5th strong score with Gigi Marino. There is Dana Durante in her 5th season. She's reached the NCAA Super 6 3 of her first 4 seasons at Georgia. Of course, she's coming in the legacy of the great Suzanne Yochlin, who won 10 NCAA titles while she was there in her 26-year reign. And Jay Clark, her assistant, moved up to the head coaching position for a few years. Clark moved on to LSU. And Dana Durrani has taken over and done a nice job. Talia Chiarelli now, Michigan.
Oh, no. I could tell on the back handspring it just did not have the energy that it needed to set that up. So the momentum wasn't there, the rotation of the layout wasn't there, and unfortunately, they are going to have to count a fall. And that's the one deadly thing that can happen in a semifinal this close.
This is, as you mentioned at the top of the show, a do or die situation, because if you are among the top 3 teams in this semifinal, you go to tomorrow's Super 6 team final. If you are not, your season ends right here. And Michigan had a great start on bars, but unfortunately, Lexi Funk had a 9-2-1-2-5, and now you'll have to count at least one low score because of Chiarelli's fall as well.
And this is what I meant by you have to finish the routine, you finish it strong, because one of these scores is going to have to count. You want it as high as possible. She does a double back here, big difficulty, big dismount, and
nice.
nailed it. Oh, they'll get her a little bit with the chest down.
Meaning all 6 teams have done 2 events. Here are our standings. LSU, Florida, Alabama, the top 3, that's the goal, to advance through to the Super 6 tomorrow. Nebraska just 2/10 point behind Alabama, sitting in 4th place. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the previous rotation. LSU was just ridiculous on vault.
This was an event they could maximize their advantage. They had so many 10-0 start value vaults and then did them as perfectly as they've done them all season. Kennedy Edney, we saw her in her very first collegiate debut on this event, similar vault. What an amazing experience for this young lady.
And Florida right behind with strong vault and bars.
They did what they needed to do on this event. They're a team of very good swingers. They did dial in some landings, nice to see, but Alex McMurtry just shot the moon. She went for it all. Hit every handstand, big height on her release move, nailed the dismount.
And they had to replace one score from Kennedy Baker, and McMurtry came with a big 9.95. Michigan, unfortunately, struggled here on beam.
The first of their 2 falls, Lexi Funk, the freshman, just let nerves get to her, did not quite put the energy into that aerial side. And Talia followed up. Oh, so painful to see the coach in the background cover her face. She feels so badly for the athletes that worked so hard. She wanted them to believe in themselves, go after it. The nerves got to them.
Georgia had struggled on beam in the previous rotation as well, but they came back pretty well on floor. Morgan Reynolds.
Morgan started them off strong, and Gigi Marino finished them off very strong. They had an issue in one of the routines, but coming up with this big routine, probably her best of the season.
And rotation 4 when we come back to St. Louis. Great action here in the NCAA Championships.
It's like my gym around me.
We talk a lot about being free of mind and like letting, your body kind of do what it knows how to do.
Embracing every moment, and you've already put in the hard work, so why stress yourself out? And just enjoy it, because it should be fun at this point.
I'm definitely going to be dancing and singing and having a great time. That keeps my nerves down and really helps me forget that we're here and the stakes are high and this is a national championship.
Anthony Johnson-Clark, how do you deal with pressure?
You have to embrace it. You really have to embrace it. It has to be something you're comfortable with, because it's not going to go away. You will feel the nerves, but everything they said is just spot on. They have to trust their training. They put in so much work. You also have to relax. Yes, you have to be aggressive and focused, but you have to be relaxed. You have to have fun and set yourself free to do what your body knows how to do.
This is Super 6 semifinal number 2. 4 events going simultaneously in this rotation. We have Georgia on the vault, Alabama on the bars, Florida's on the beam, Nebraska on the floor.
Kennedy Baker on balance beam for Florida.
Morgan Reynolds for Georgia on the vault. Mackenzie Brennan for Alabama on the bars. And Danielle Breen for Nebraska on the floor, all going at the same time.
And all off to a good start. Starting this rotation very strong for all teams. Well done. Stuck routine. Nice to see Kennedy Baker come back after her fall on the dismount on bars.
I think a lot of people are surprised when they come to a competition like this. I'm often hearing comments from people say, I had no idea they were all going at once in a team championship. So that all-around channel, that quad box, so to speak, really gives you a sense of what it's like to be here in the building, trying to figure out where to direct your eyes.
Absolutely, and for the athlete trying to balance out, you want to use the energy of the audience. You want this to feel like it's a big event, but you also have to stay focused. And that's why they talk about staying in their bubble, creating their own energy, their own dynamic for each team.
Kathy, that's a good point, because in the regular season, it's a dual meet format where teams alternate. So really, there's only one athlete competing at a time. Here, you're almost competing for the attention of the audience and the judges and trying to feel a way to be comfortable. Gigi Marino, we saw her do a great job on floor in the last rotation for Georgia. Here she is on the vault.
Little strategy here. Georgia is putting up a 1.5 twist in the second spot in the lineup. Whoa, little short of rotation.
We saw in that quad box, Morgan Reynolds, she opened up for Georgia, 9.7875. Just a moment ago after Mackenzie Brennan on Alabama, Shea Mahoney took to the bars.
And I know what the coaches want to see here, them take their time. Do not rush this event. They have to hit their handstands, give nothing away here. Very good so far on this routine. Nice form. Oh, great form in the air. Little hop back. They'll take that deduction, but the form in the dismount was just beautiful.
Go to Laura Rutledge.
You guys are talking about how everything's going on at once in a quad meet, and it's interesting because I hear a lot of coaches over here on the beam reminding their athletes not to go to the pace of the floor music. We are very close to the floor over on the beam podium, and Kathy, I'm wondering how difficult it is to tune out maybe a quicker pace floor music as you're trying to go to your own rhythm on beam.
Exactly, and like Bart mentioned, in dual meets, they typically have background music going for their balance beam. Often it's music that the teams have selected. It's easy, it's the right rhythm for balance beam, so it takes a lot of focus to not get distracted.
Taylor Houchin for Nebraska on the floor. Danielle Breen had a 9.85 in their leadoff spot. Nebraska was just 0.2 of a point behind Alabama coming into this rotation. Alabama sitting in third. And remember, the goal tonight is to advance to the Super 6 final. You got to be in the top 3.
And no team here could really play it safe. Obviously, LSU had the advantage. They could probably count a couple little mistakes, certainly not falls, you don't want to see them, but the others really had to bring their absolute best to secure a spot.
So because of the mistakes for Georgia and Michigan, they're trailing that top 4 group. But as you note, LSU and Michigan are on byes in this particular rotation.
Beautiful routine, nice job. Love the form, the toe point, and presentation.
There are 4 redshirt freshmen on this team and 3 traditional freshmen. So a very young team for Dan Kindick and Heather Brink doing a nice job for the Cornhuskers, keeping them in contention for a spot in the Super 6 final. Ashlyn Broussard now on vault. All scores for Georgia have been in the 9.7 so far.
Very pretty vault in the air. Good enough height and distance to score well. We're not going to see a big score. Again, that start value is a 9.95. And to get it even close to that, they've really got to blast off the table and show explosive block.
Amanda Jeter for Alabama set to go on the bars. It had a 9.9 from Keely McNear, a 9.85 from Mackenzie Brennan, and Shea Mahoney a 9.825.
One way to separate these routines, and Alabama is doing a terrific job hitting handstands. I love the patience they're showing. The release move wasn't quite as big and high as some as we've seen in the competition. Whoa, she sent that back, but she did manage to come up with a pretty good landing. They'll take a little deduction for the adjustment.
She gets high fives from the associate head coach, Brian Rashilla. Take a look at that handstand.
Rhythm. Got the handstand right on top, and that's because she waited, did the nice long swing.
It really looked like she slung this out too far.
But she put glue on her feet, so she didn't move.
Back to vault now for Georgia, Lauren Johnson.
Oh, short on rotation. When your chest is down like that, the judges have to take a deduction.
Ashlyn Broussard before her notched the highest score for the Gym Dog. She had a 9.825. The NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championship continues tomorrow with the Super 6 Team Championship. Coverage continues at 9 Eastern on ESPNU. For more information on the 90 NCAA championships, log on to ncaa.com. Back to the bars for Alabama, Kiana Winston. Their scores range from a 9.825 up to the 9.9 for Keely McNear. Amanda Jeter had a 9.8875.
Watch the height on these release moves. Really big air here on the reverse hect. And again, down to the low bar with a pack salto and great control as well.
Alabama doing an outstanding job so far in this competition.
This is a double layout. If she can maintain the body position. Oh, just a tiny hop back. They'll take a little micro deduction there. It was like a half hop. But I loved the height, the amplitude on this reverse hack was beautiful. 2.5 feet above the bar. Maintained very good form. Nice position in the air. Look how laid out. Just piked down really before she needed to. Over-rotated and hopped back.
Nice job for the junior from Fort Worth, Texas. So we mentioned earlier that Alabama has been something of a mystery this year, but so far tonight, they have been really consistent and impressive.
I'm very impressed with how they've competed.
Rachel Gowie on beam now for Florida. Update you on their scores. Kennedy Baker led them off with a 9.8625. Grace McLaughlin a 9.7875, and Amelia Hundley a 9.825.
Rachel has very good score potential on this event. She shows nice position in her leaps. She also has a triple series right here. Back handspring to 2 layouts. Much more difficult. Lines it up beautifully. Excellent landing.
Katie Bailey on the bars for Alabama simultaneously.
Good amplitude on that release move. And
By the
perfect balance on balance beam.
They're both happening at the same time. The score in for Kiana Winston at 9.9. Alabama on the bars.
Beautiful, full out dismount, excellent landing, and a great balance beam routine as well. That's the best I've seen Rachel compete on beam. Katie Bailey was superb.
Remember, coming into this rotation, Alabama sitting in third, just 0.2 of a point ahead of Alabama, and they rock the bars. This is Jenny Lang on bars for Nebraska. Excuse me, on the floor. I knew that. Good scores there so far. Danielle Breen in 9.85 and 2 9.8875s for Taylor Houchin and Megan Schweihofer.
The gymnasts have become such great performers in floor exercise. They love to put together the choreography that's going to appeal to their fans at home and score well with the judges.
Nebraska was 8th in the NCAA championships last year, and they are the Big Ten regular season co-champs along with Michigan. They were 8-1 in the conference this year. Just like the SEC, they award a regular season championship in addition to the conference title, which is a separate competition altogether. Alicia Boren on beam for Florida. Katie Bailey score in now on the bars, and look at that, a 9.95. What a rotation for the Crimson Tide on bars. Rachel Gowie before Boren on beam for Florida had a 9.8625.
Florida's doing a super job, being very confident, taking one skill at a time. Love this combination. Cat leap into the gainer layout. Alicia shows nice level of difficulty. Not all routines are created equally. Some of the routines really do have more difficulty. They're still scored from a 10.0, but hopefully the judges can see the difference.
Scores for Florida on the beam have been solid, but they haven't broken through to the 9.9 barrier. Grace McLaughlin's 9.7875 is the low score to 9.8625 for Gowie and Baker. Sienna Kraus now on the floor for the Cornhuskers. Jenny Lang before her, a 9.875.
Oh, nice. Front double twist to a punch front.
Talking to Coach Dan Kindick before the meet, and he said he really likes the chemistry of this young team. And they're really all about the team. Not so much about superstar individuals, but they're doing a nice job today. And the battle right now in that third spot between Alabama and Nebraska is close, although Alabama just killed it on the bars with a season high.
She's had a little trouble on that middle tumbling run, missed the timing of the punch from the one somersault into the next. She managed to pull it around.
They have really good scores here so far. Their lowest score is a 9.875, excuse me, a 9.85.
Oh, finishes with a punch back tuck. Choreography, very nice. Russell Warfield has done a great job. He's a volunteer coach and choreographer there. Little problem with the tumbling.
Alex McMurtry now closing it out for Florida on the beam. Alicia Boren's score is in. It's a 9.8875, so the score they want to replace is the 9.7875. But they have yet to break through to the 9.9s.
Alex moves so smoothly on this event. Everything thus far is spot on.
She's had a great meet. A vault that would blow your mind in the first rotation, and then a impressive bar routine as well with another stuck landing.
You can really see she has shifted in her mind, striving for absolute perfection. Her team just got so excited because she hit the full turn. She had trouble with that.
She smiled.
At regional, she had a perfect routine going and then wobbled a little on that. This double twist often has just the ability to find the landing no matter where she is, and that was a phenomenal job. Just so close to perfection.
A good time to remind our viewers that in addition to team slots in the Super 6 final, we'll be awarding national champions in each event as well as the all-around, and McMurtry in the hunt for an all-around championship.
Nice job hitting the full split and then into her, I gotta call it the flying banana. Our producer has named it the flying banana. The double twist though, look at that. She has dialed in 3 landings so far in this competition.
The leader in the all-around competition from the earlier session is Michaela Skinner from Utah with an outstanding 39.6125. Let's go down to Laura.
Alex McMurtry, Bart, not only a crucial all-around competitor for this Florida team, but also their team leader. And she told me earlier she really likes the position that this Florida team's in. She said, look, I get it. Everybody's talking about Oklahoma and LSU, and they should be. But if we're able to advance to Super 6, I like our chances. I like this team. I like the fact that we don't have a whole lot of pressure on us. She said it's really good, especially when some of their crucial competitors are freshmen in Rachel Gowie and Amelia Hundley, guys.
Thank you, Laura. Her score is coming in now. It's a 9.9375. So that will replace the 9.7875, and Florida breaks through to the 9.9s, impressively so on the beam. And just a moment ago, anchor performer for Nebraska on the floor, Ashley Lambert.
This is dramatic. It is powerful.
Score for Sienna Kraus before her, the 9.75. All the other scores are 9.85 or better.
Opens with super high double layout. Huge amplitude on the front, all the way through to a double back. This is what you call powering through a floor routine.
Lambert, the senior from Newport News, Virginia.
Work on the toe point just a little bit there to really work on those details, but watch the tumbling, the explosive takeoff off the floor, the lift, the technique, sensational.
Oh.
Wow, what a finish.
Oh, nice.
If that doesn't catch you by surprise.
And there is assistant coach Dan Miller. What a nice job for Nebraska. They are keeping this hunt in for the 3rd spot. Very interesting. Just 0.2 of a point behind Alabama coming into this rotation, sitting in 4th. Her score comes in a 9.9125. Now the 4 scores for Nebraska. They replace the 9.75 of Sienna Kraus. And impressive team score. Remember, just the best 5 out of 6 scores count towards your team total in collegiate competition. Let's go to Laura Rutledge.
Thanks, Barton. Here with Bev. Coach, you did have the bye after beam. What was discussed during that time?
You know, I just told them it's not over until it's over. And, you know, we've had very respectable events other than counting the extra fall on beam. And a couple of years ago, Florida counted a fall on beam, came back and won a national championship. So you don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of gymnastics that still has to happen. And I told them to come out and win the next 2 events. And, you know, if nothing else, they go home, you know, proud of their accomplishment of coming back. But we're just really focused right now on floor and vault, and that's it.
Yeah, how do you win the next 2 events? Floor, first of all.
Well, we're a very good floor team, and we just have to, you know, get our composure back, get the bounce back in our step, go out there and have some fun. I love our floor routines. I think they have the ability to really go out there and perform. We got to hold those landings. I know the floor is pretty bouncy, and then go over and stick some vaults. But, you know, we've got to have some fun in the rest of this meet and let everything else take care of itself.
You couldn't see your team behind you, but they were dancing during that interview, so I think they heard you.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right, thanks so much, Bev.
Thank you.
Bart.
Thank you, Coach. Okay, Sunday on ABC, we'll have a Western Conference Game 1 between the Trailblazers and the Warriors from Oracle Arena. Our coverage tip-off at 3 o'clock Eastern with NBA Countdown presented by Straight Talk Wireless. And as always, it can be seen streaming live on the ESPN app and Watch ESPN. Here are the scores as we go to the break.
We both think Cleveland's getting out of the East, but to pretend that you're not nervous.
Here are the team scores based on averages, because not all teams have done the same number of routines yet. LSU, Florida, solidly in the top 2 spots. Alabama in 3rd right now, and Nebraska slightly behind in 4th based on averages. Now, in this rotation coming up, Alabama and Nebraska will complete their try here at the semifinal number 2, because in the 6th and final rotation, they're on a bye. So they essentially will be the leaders in clubhouse, and they were terrific on bars. I saw Brian Rashilla, the associate head coach, fist pumping just a second ago.
That's Keely McNear nailing her dismount. They certainly made their case for why they should be the number 3 team coming out of this semifinal. Kiana Winston really punctuated the rotation. High-flying release moves, clean form, and nearly a perfect landing on a great dismount. Katie Bailey was outstanding, so patient on her swing. Hit her handstands, but this is what sealed the deal. Full out. She saw it, felt it, and finished. Well done.
Nebraska keeping the pressure on. They were outstanding on the floor.
They just built momentum, routine to routine, putting up great scores until the finale. What a powerhouse, both in the tumbling and her dynamic dance. Wowed everybody with the explosive tumbling and wowed us with her finish.
Okay, so they will complete their competition here in the 5th rotation, and they'll be the leaders in the clubhouse when this one's over. Coming up next, after the 4th rotation based on averages here in the semifinal number 2 at the 2017 NCAA Gymnastics Championships. And hello everybody, I'm Bart Conner along with my fellow Olympic medalist Kathy Johnson-Clark. A thrilling weekend of gymnastics. Your expectations tonight, have they been surpassed?
Oh, absolutely. And I love the energy, the pace of this meet, and the performances. LSU is flying high. They have been phenomenal. I love that in this rotation, Michigan and Alabama will be on the floor at the same time while some of the other teams are on bye. They are battling for that 3rd spot.
LSU has been a team of destiny so far this year. Let's go down to Laura Rutledge for more.
Well, Bart, we will see LSU on bars during this rotation, and something to watch out for. A key contributor for them on this event, Lexi Priestman, tweaked her wrist in warm-ups earlier. She said she was fine to go. They went over it. She's been able to warm up okay just now. I've been watching her. She looks okay. She's been smiling, but something to keep in mind just in case for this LSU team that they want to make sure they finish strong on all events for the rest of this competition.
Thank you, Laura. We're in the 5th of 6 rotations. 6 teams competing. There's just 4 events, so 2 teams on a bye in this rotation. It's a 4-ring circus of sorts. We're going to pay particular attention between Nebraska and Alabama for the 3rd spot. Nebraska on the vault.
Open with a very good Yurchenko full, slightly off center. That'll be a deduction, but a good landing.
That was Grace Williams for Alabama on the beam. Down in your lower left, Winter Childers. Michigan on the floor, and LSU on the bars in this rotation.
And Alabama can be so strong on this event. Winter Childers, a freshman, leading off. Very nice. Aerial walkover, lands on the one leg, swings it right through to the scale.
Florida and Georgia on buys in this 5th rotation.
Very solid start. Fought for that landing. They may take a little bit because she was leaning as she stepped out of the stuck position.
In terms of the team title, 3 teams advance from tonight into tomorrow's Super 6 finals. LSU and Florida, extremely impressive. So the battle really is for who's going to be third. And right now, it looks like it's coming down to Alabama and Nebraska. That brings up Megan Schweihofer. Grace Williams led them off with a 9.875 on vault. Excuse me, 9.7875. It's so confusing because this is the first meet of the year where they use 6 judges, high and low thrown out, and 4 scores average.
And Nebraska has several 10-0 start value vaults. They're later in the lineup. These first 2 are 9.95 start value. That was a much better vault, so that score should inch up just a little bit on this one.
Maya Hambrick on the bars for LSU now. Their leadoff performer, Shea Zamardi, had a great 9.85.
Maya is having a terrific 4-event night. She has been so consistent. Starting last year, just stepped up her gymnastics, her consistency. Oh, didn't quite get the landing on the bar dismount, but remember, it's all about qualifying because tomorrow is the Super 6 finals and it's going to be a battle again.
Winter Childers on beam had a 9.8875 to lead it off for the Crimson Tide. So they continue to roll, and that brings up Asia Sims.
And Asia is one of the best balance beam performers in the country. Beautiful flexibility. She really shows it off in her leaps and jumps. Typically very solid on this acro series. Back handspring layout, step out. One of the most common series we see on balance beam in collegiate gymnastics.
In terms of their national rankings,
that
4th in the beam
is the highlight of her routine. Those leaps are beautiful, the position in the air.
Alabama ranked 6th in the country coming into this championship. And as we noted, their season has been somewhat of a mystery. It hasn't appeared to have a performance on all cylinders, but they seem to be clicking tonight.
Love to see her perform, and she's going for the big one.
Oh,
double back,
right.
nails the landing. What a feeling, good for her. I actually think that routine will bring tears to her eyes. She has wanted to hit everything in that routine all season long.
Ruby Harold on bars now for LSU.
Nice combination, woo! You don't see that one in college gymnastics.
Ruby, a member of the British national team.
Follows up with a single bar release move and a tuck double front, step back. Gonna give away a 1/10 of a point there.
Maya Hambrick before her had a 9.8375 after Zamardi's 9.85. A moment ago for Nebraska on the bars, Ashley Lambert.
Now we'll start seeing the very powerful vault. That's a big Yurchenko vault. Yes, it's a 9.95 start value, but she really got some good lift off the table.
And her score is in. It's a 9.9, a season high, and what a time to do it. Ashley Lambert for Nebraska. Followed by Sienna Kraus.
Turns it up a notch with a 1.5 twist and a perfect landing.
Nebraska having an outstanding night. The battle is on. Asia Sims, her score is in, a 9.925 for Alabama, and that brings up Abby Armbrecht.
Nice cover there, slightly off. We have seen so many times Alabama finish on balance beam as their last event and perform so well under pressure, and they are under pressure here.
That's a shot.
That really looked like she was straight. Of course, from this angle, it's hard to say.
so far tonight, Alabama has been money. That's the first skill that had a little doubt involved.
Finishes strong, but unfortunately that will be the score they hope to drop. So all they need to do is come back with strong routines. Here's an overhead view. You could see just very wishy-washy on the back handspring, that takeoff. Watch right here, loose ankles on the takeoff, just very unsure throughout.
Abby Armbrecht, the sophomore from Mobile, Alabama. So after two great scores for Childers and Sims, that will be a low score for Alabama, puts extra pressure on the remainder in the lineup, Desch, Winston, and Guerrero.
I talked at the beginning about minimize, maximize, and capitalize. That's the part we are seeing now. When mistakes are made, other teams have that opportunity to come up big and capitalize on the opportunity.
Final vaulter for Nebraska, Jenny Lang.
A 1.5 to could not get the landing, over-rotated the vault. I think she was just so pumped up, trying to go big.
Sarah Finnegan for LSU on bars. Kennedy Edney before her, a 9.85, and Ruby Harold, a 9.8125.
If LSU has shown any vulnerability at all, it's on this event, just a little bit. They have been money, and just like that landing, dialed that one in.
She gets a hug from the associate head coach, Jay Clark, formerly of Georgia, but he's done a terrific job with LSU, putting them in a position to contend for a national championship. It looks clear that LSU will advance to the Super 6 final based on what we're seeing here tonight.
Everything that they have done in the training process has been geared toward consistency. They are just consistent in practice, and they bring it right into the competition arena.
LSU averaging over 9.9 tonight in this team competition. For Alabama now, Maddie Desch, enormous pressure because Abby Armbrecht's score of a 9.2375 would be the score they'd hope to replace. But they need 3 hit routines in a row in hopes to remain ahead of Nebraska.
Maddie has been very solid for them throughout on this event. She's a very tough competitor.
Lexi Priestman.
Remember, she's got that sore wrist. Said she was fine, handled that combination beautifully.
Their anchor performer for LSU on the bar, Sarah Finnegan before her, a career high 9.95.
Big routine here for LSU, and a solid finish. Way to go.
A great night for the LSU Tigers, capped off on bars by Lexi Priestman. How many times have we seen Alabama on beam at a national championship in this kind of pressure scenario, Kathy? And often they deliver.
And they had to play around with their lineup a little. Normally, Keely McNear would be in the balance beam. They made the decision because she's had a little bit of trouble. She was in a car accident, was out, missed some training, and she was a little unsure in her leadoff spot, so they made a change.
There is Dan Kendick and Heather Brink congratulating their team, Nebraska. They are the leaders in the clubhouse, so their team score a very impressive 197-2125. So that is the score that Alabama will have to beat, because it looks clear, if things hold true to form, that LSU and Florida will be the other two that advance. So it's going to come down to Alabama on the beam. Can they score enough to surpass Nebraska, who's already done?
And they have 2 more performers. Beautiful beam workers, Kiana Winston, and then Nikki Guerrero, who is a rock in the anchor position.
Getting a few tips from head coach Dana Duckworth, who herself was a national beam champion just a few years ago.
Ooh, I can feel the pressure here and the nerves, and I saw her looking toward her teammates. And the motion that she gave them, they were almost like wings. I'm not sure what it meant between them, but she is drawing from them the support. They're with her. She is a beautiful beam worker.
Nicole Arts from Michigan on the floor. All of their scores are 9.85 or better. This is a good event for the Wolverines. In terms of the team competition, unfortunately, because of the struggles on beam, they're no longer in contention for one of these top 3 team spots.
So much riding on Kiana Winston's shoulders.
Maddie Desch's score is in. It's a 9.8.
Alabama needs big scores here. Gorgeous position in the lead. I see her being careful, but not overly cautious. That's a good sign. You have to be normal. Get in your rhythm, breathe, focus. One skill, one step at a time.
Keep in mind, Nebraska just notched a season-high team score of a 197-2-125, so Alabama needs 2 big hit routines to drop the score.
Kiana has a big dismount here. Double back. It's difficult. It's risky. She does it well. Almost got the stick. A great job under immense pressure.
That means there will be one final performance for Alabama on the beam. That'll be Nikki Guerrero to see if the Crimson Tide can earn that coveted top 3 spot in the Super 6 final for tomorrow.
And how wonderful seeing Michigan come back so strong on floor exercise.
The NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships continues tomorrow with the Super 6 Team Championship. Coverage continues at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPNU. For more information on the 90 NCAA championships, log on to ncaa.com. Go back to the beam. We're waiting on the score for Kiana Winston and then Nikki Guerrero. You see her there getting a few tips from Dana Duckworth, will be their final performer. Oklahoma, UCLA, and Utah have qualified from semifinal 1 today. Earlier, those were the teams that were predicted to qualify, but as we opened up tonight's meet, Kathy, it wasn't so much about who was going to make it, but there's going to be some really great teams, unfortunately, that will not advance to the Super 6. Will it be Alabama or Nebraska? We're going to find out right now with Nikki Guerrero on the beam. It comes down to her.
I can tell you they are doing everything they possibly can. They're leaving it all out on the floor, and if I wanted anyone in this position, it would be Nikki Guerrero. She has been rock solid time and time again in this anchor position.
Kiana Winston did her part, 9.8875.
Nikki has a difficult series. It's a triple series. Back handspring to 2 layout, step out. She's preparing right here. Lines it up. Tumbles down the length of the balance beam all the way to the finish.
Money. Remember, the score they're trying to replace is Abby Armbrecht's 9.2375. So if Nikki Guerrero can stay on the beam and get 9.4775 or more, they will pass Nebraska. Basically, no falls, and Alabama goes through to the Super 6 final.
She is supremely confident in her ability on this event. Very, very solid. Needs this stuck landing.
Oh, they're going to get it.
Woo!
That'll do it for the Crimson Tide. What a meet they had. Kathy, you said at the top of the show they've been something of a mystery this year. They seem to put it all together tonight.
But what do we always say about Alabama? They can rise to the occasion. We've watched them do it time and time again, even after struggling throughout the season, where you weren't sure what you were going to get, what team was going to show up. They have so much pride in the legacy that they've built at Alabama. They do whatever they can in the moment to be on the floor in the Super 6 finals.
6-time NCAA champions. Incredible legacy with this program out of Tuscaloosa. always a contender.
Took a lot of fight in this last rotation. I've seen her stick this every time. Only sign of nerves right there. Came up a little short of rotation, but it was enough.
And such a clutch routine, because the score they were hoping to replace, 9-2-3-7-5, will easily be replaced by whatever Guerrero comes up with, and we wait on that score now. Remember, there's one final rotation to go. Florida and Georgia on byes. But after this rotation, Alabama and Nebraska, their competition will be complete. Scores in for Guerrero, 9-8-6-2-5. That will do it. The Crimson Tide officially passes Nebraska, who had an outstanding competition, a 197.6, so just less than 0.4 of a point over Nebraska, and it came down to Nikki Guerrero's clutch routine.
This has been an extraordinary competition, and watching these athletes handle the pressure they did, use the energy, do everything they can, left it all out on the floor. Both teams can really be proud of that battle in the final rotation for them.
All right, Florida has yet to complete their competition. Their coach, Jenny Rowland, is with our Laura now.
Thanks. And Coach, when you look at what your team was able to do during the bye, getting a moment to breathe, how do you think they're prepared for the rest of this competition?
I would say they're very loose and ready for Florida. Everybody's back there screaming and, well, singing, but I would say screaming at the top of their lungs, having a good time, just ready to come out here and nail Florida.
How would you describe the way your team competed on beam?
I think they did a fabulous job. Up to now, they've been very cool, they've been very loose, they've been calm, they've been having a blast, and that's what we wanted to come in and do.
Certainly some challenges with a bouncier floor on podium, but what is your team prepared to do on floor?
Well, having been on podium so far this year once, it turned out really well for us. We had a great workout, and just going to be normal and, stay focused.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Bart.
Thank you, Laura, and we wish the Florida Gators good luck in the 6th and final rotation, which is coming up when we come back. Here are the current average score standings. Keep in mind, not everybody's done the same number of routines. So based on average scores, LSU, Florida, Alabama are our leaders. Nebraska will not advance to the Super 6 final. Teams are the leaders in the clubhouse, so to speak. Alabama with an outstanding 197.6, just about 0.4 of a point ahead of Nebraska. And you see LSU, Florida, Michigan, and Georgia yet to compete on their 4th event, and that's coming up now. Nebraska finished strong. They had a great meet, start to finish. Ashley Lambert did her part.
No doubt they did everything they possibly could to make their case to be that number 3 qualifying spot. They were fantastic in this final rotation for them on vault, big vaults, stuck landings, beautifully done.
LSU continues to roll.
Nice to see her compete. She has a sore wrist. She's been dealing with that for several weeks now. Came up big for LSU in that anchor position. And Sarah Finnegan was just beautiful as always. Look at the toe point, the lines. Very elegant dismount and found the landing perfect.
At 9.95 for her was a career high, and Alabama under enormous pressure on the beam, Kathy.
Beautiful routine here. Nice to see her hit everything from start to finish, including a very difficult double back with a perfect landing. And what a rock. So consistent throughout, but handling this kind of pressure, it came down to a must-hit routine, and that she did.
The stage is set for the 6th and final rotation. Remember, coming up next on ESPN, catch SportsCenter at night with Stan and Neil. They have full breakdowns of the NHL playoff games MLB's best, the NBA playoff first round previews, and everything else. Sports Center at night, also streaming live on the ESPN app and Watch ESPN. Final rotation here in St. Louis. When we come back, it's going to be a thriller.
All right, thank you, Bart. And Coach, when you look into your gymnast eyes tonight, what are you seeing?
Eye of the Tiger. I see a group of young ladies, a group of athletes that have worked hard all season long. They're like-minded, they love their university, and they've got one mission in mind. We go to beam now and just be normal.
You mentioned being normal on beam. What does that look like?
It means, I don't want them to try. I want them just to get up there and let it be organic. Do what we do in practice every day. This is how we end every away meet. We've had some great competition, so let's just go over there and relax and be normal.
All right, I'll let you get over there.
All right, thanks.
The stage is set now, the sixth and final rotation. The goal is to qualify in the top 3 teams through to the Super 6 final. And once again, it's a 4-ring circus. So in this rotation, Michigan on the vault, Georgia on the bars, LSU on the beam, and Florida on the floor. In your bottom right, Grace McLaughlin of Florida.
She has led off on floor most of this season. Florida has had really a great competition so far in these semifinals, really showing that they will be a force.
LSU had the lead coming into this rotation among the top teams. Florida behind them, and about almost 4/10 of a point based on apples to apples, the same number of routines. So Erin McAdeg, as usual, leads off the LSU Tigers.
And Bart, very few teams can really match the 1-2 punch that LSU brings to balance beam to open their rotation. These are routines that could anchor many of the other teams' balance beam rotations. They begin with them, so they start so strong. Their confidence, their performance, they have good difficulty. It's spread throughout the routine.
McAdeg, the junior from Redwood City, California. She's a skilled all-arounder, but really beam is her baby, isn't it?
This is her specialty, and she has come up big for them every time. I can't emphasize the importance of the leadoff routine. Good, there was only just a slight hiccup. Barely a hesitation there.
It's
before
interesting.
The finish position.
Some gymnasts, when they're a little bit off, panic. Others just smoothly finesse the landing.
No room
she
for
did
panic
just
on
that.
beam.
Okay, so that clutch leadoff performance on beam. Dee Bro knows that's a big one there. Set the pace for these 6 young ladies to go. 5 remaining for LSU, and they have the lead in this session.
And as if to tag team, hand off, my Hamrick will go next. And you will see each of them pound their chest. This is an all-heart season. They have connected in that way. They compete for each other. And I can tell you that's very comforting when you're up on balance beam, because it's a lonely place up there. But when you've got the support and the belief and the trust of all your teammates, that's big.
In this 6th rotation, LSU and Florida just need to avoid major mistakes to advance to the Super 6 finals. Florida on floor, LSU on beam, Georgia on bars, and Michigan on the vault. Rachel Slocum, a transfer into Florida, second up.
And this is as much fun as you can have in a floor routine. Nice combination pass all the way through to the pike double back. Her facial expressions are just unique, special to her. She will draw you in and make you smile. I dare you to not smile.
Maya Hambrick starting on the beam now for LSU at the same time.
Look at that beautiful full turn with the leg elevated, extended. Hitch kick to aerial cartwheel. Perfect poise.
Before transferring to Florida, Slocum competed at Eastern Michigan. In fact, last year she was in the NCAA Regional, where she was the champion on the floor, competing for Eastern Michigan. And this year she's in the big dance, competing for a team contending for a championship.
Love the composition of this balance beam routine. Look how floaty that back handspring layout, step out was. And as I said, they really distribute their difficulty throughout the routine, doing their series at the very end, right before the dismount. It's a really high double twist and a great landing. What a phenomenal routine.
How about that? Because Erin McAdeg led them off with a 9-9 and another huge routine on beam. That 1-2 punch, as you said, Kathy, is just ridiculous.
Ooh,
Lauren Johnson on the bars for
oh,
Georgia.
She's all off completely.
Oh.
Trying to get back into the rhythm of the routine. Major breaks, though, early in the routine. They will be significant deductions. Glad to see her get back on track, finish strong. Gorgeous. Look at the double layout, like a pencil straight.
The first two performers for Georgia, Morgan Reynolds and Haley Sanders, had 9.8. The 9.8 was a career high for Sanders, but unfortunately for Georgia, things just haven't gone their way today in this championship.
Great to see Michigan really battling back. As Coach Bev Clocky said, she wants to see some fight and win the next two events. You go out strong. It's not over till it's over. They did a great job on floor exercise and again here on vault.
It seems like both Michigan and Georgia were bitten by the beam today. And so hoping to finish off strong. All four scores so far for Michigan in the 9-7 range. That brings up Olivia Karras.
All of their scores so far are in the 9-7 range. That's a beauty, 1.5 twist. That will be a big score for them. Well done.
Score in for Maya Hambrick for LSU on the beam was a 9.9375, and Sydney Ewing up now.
It's great to see them not just be so poised and precise on balance beam, but they're not holding back. They throw good difficulty in the routines. They take the risks they need to take to be one of the top teams, if not the top.
Simultaneously on the floor, Amelia Hundley coming up after Rachel Slocum notched a 9.875.
Little check on that full turn, just minor. Florida just needs to be solid on all their tumbling, get the landings, give nothing away, no out of bounds. And an excellent routine, beautiful 1.5 twist. What keeps flying through my mind, it's like the luckier I get, the harder I work, the luckier I get. They work so hard. This isn't luck. They have prepared for this moment. Nice job by Amelia Hundley on floor exercise, keeping the momentum going for the Gators.
And the Gators and the LSU Tigers, all they have to do is avoid a major mistake in this final rotation, and they go through to the Super Six. Florida, of course, 3 times has won the national championship. LSU has never won it. And the question mark going all the way back to January, could this be their year? Kennedy Edney getting set to go. A few extra comments from Dee Bro and Jay Clark. They're pretty relaxed over there on the sidelines for the LSU Tigers because they know they're on track today.
I've seen so many different expressions on Dee Bro's face. Nothing quite like I'm seeing now. There is just so much, there's calmness, but just happiness for these ladies who have worked so hard, and she's seen it happen. Look at the smile. It's just beautiful to see. Oh, see it, feel it. That's what she told us. See it, feel it.
Rachel Dixon on bars for Georgia.
Beautiful, big release move there. Nice to see them do some good gymnastics to finish up. They haven't had the best luck here, but you want to for pride and to show off some great gymnastics. That is lovely. Nicely done.
Score in for Sydney Ewing for LSU, a 9-9. Let's go down to Laura.
We'll see Alex McMurtry on floor for Florida. She does a magnificent triple, and guys, she said even when she watches it, she likes to watch it a few times. She can't believe herself how high she gets in the air.
Well, you got to see it to believe it. It's right here. Unbelievable block. That is as high a triple twist as you will see. Probably even from the male gymnasts we've seen do extraordinary work with those twisting moves.
Literally, she just floats down from the ceiling effortlessly on a triple twister. She's having an outstanding all-around day. And keep in mind, we're going to crown an all-around champion here tonight. Michaela Skinner from Utah has the lead with a 39.6125. But what a day McMurtry's having.
She doesn't always get to compete in the all-around. They really have to watch and monitor her back issue. But she has such extraordinary technique in her tumbling. Her round-up back handspring is so perfect. It sets up perfect block for the tumbling. And look at the landing. Glues her feet to the mat.
I don't think she missed a landing all day.
No, she didn't.
Stuck everything here in the semifinal.
It was a crazy good performance. 4 events across the board. She went for everything. She shot the moon and really got it. Look at the height. She finishes 3 twists in time to open out. Look at the floor, have a sandwich, and then drop it in. It's just crazy.
Jenny Rowland, in her second year at the head coach at Florida, took over for Rhonda Fain, who took a job with USA Gymnastics to work with the international program. Sarah Finnegan on the beam. This is one of your favorite routines, I know, Kathy.
Absolutely. Well, I love balance beam. And so when I get the opportunity to watch a true beamer masterfully perform balance beam routines, it's just a thrill.
After scores of 9-9 or above for the first 3 gymnasts, Kennedy Edney only a 9.7875.
We've seen some high scores on balance beam, and yes, they were hit beam routines, and they showed no breaks. But there's something, sometimes athletes go above and beyond, and when the execution is so superb, so superior, I'd love to see it rewarded. It's hard to do because you don't see the obvious mistakes, but you need to see the obvious superior aspects of balance beam routines, and that's just beautiful. Lovely.
How about that? They got 5 hit routines, 1 more to go, and LSU will advance to the Super 6 final. Alicia Boren on floor. Now, Alex McMurtry, her score just came in. This 9.95 gives her a 39.8125, and she is the leader in the all-around. She just surpassed Michaela Skinner from the first session, who was the leader.
An amazing job in the first semifinal. Alicia Bourne is off to a great start. Shows off power, explosiveness in her tumbling, and personality in the dance. She's having so much more fun this year. I'm already starting to think ahead to Super 6 finals and the areas where each of these teams can improve. Believe it or not, they can be even better, and when they're driven with incredible competition, it's going to be exciting.
The teams that qualified from the semifinal earlier today was number 1, Oklahoma, the undefeated and reigning national champions, as well as Utah and UCLA.
Woo! Did not quite get her usual lift on that final tumbling pass. Normally she is sky high. She was a little short of rotation.
And it looks quite likely that the 3 teams from this session that will advance are Florida, LSU, and Alabama. So the stage will be set for tomorrow's Super 6 finals. Ashley Natt, she thrilled us on the other apparatus today. She's set to go on the beam now for LSU, coming up of a 9.9125 for Sarah Finnegan.
She has been stupendous this entire season, both with her gymnastics and her leadership. Just the spirit and the heart of this team really drives them all. Was rewarded being named the AAI Gymnast of the Year. That's like the Heisman Trophy in collegiate gymnastics.
And it's awarded to the top senior student athletes, so they take into account performance in the classroom as well.
She has consistently performed 3 events every competition, sometimes in the all-around. We get to see her on the uneven bars once in a while. This is such a solid balance beam routine. She does her back handspring layout at the end of her routine as well.
4 scores for LSU are 9-9 or better. And Nat is on target for a big one.
Dismount is very similar to her vault. She opens it out and just punctuates an amazing balance beam rotation for LSU with a stuck landing. What else do you expect at this point?
So they will replace the 9.7875 for Kennedy Edney with whatever that score is. And Kennedy Baker will wrap it up in competition for Florida on the floor. SEC co-champion on this event. Let's go to Laura Rutledge.
Hey Bart, one thing to keep in mind, the competitors and teams that advance from session 2 to the Super 6 tomorrow have a way quicker turnaround than the teams in semifinal number 1. That's something a lot of these teams are keeping in mind right now.
It's a very good point, Laura. They're going to have to manage the energy level, and that is going to benefit the teams that are very physically fit, well prepared throughout the season to endure back-to-back days of competition at the highest level. This is a terrific routine for Florida, very entertaining. High flying tumbling. That opening tumbling pass, the Dos Santos or Arabian double, was phenomenal. And a high double back.
It's a good point about tomorrow's competition in the Super 6 final, because it's a real test of the strength, conditioning, endurance of these athletes, because rarely are they doing 2 meets back-to-back in the regular season.
Very nice job. Florida has had a terrific floor rotation. Will easily qualify and have their sights set on the Super 6 finals tomorrow.
What a thrilling night here in semifinal 2. LSU has a 198.275. Florida, it's academic. We wait for the score of Kennedy Baker, and they will advance as well, along with Alabama. Our individual all-around champion in the 2017 NCAA championships is Alex McMurtry from Florida, and Laura's with her now.
All right, thank you so much, Barton. Alex, you're the individual all-around champion. I don't know if you know this, but your score the highest ever in a semifinal in history of this competition. How would you describe your performance tonight?
Honestly, I think the Gators were on fire tonight, and my coaches knew I could do it. They made this goal for me at the beginning of the year, and quite honestly, I thought they were crazy. I didn't think I was good enough, but after tonight, really confident in my performance and so proud of the Gators.
Why is this moment emotional for you?
I honestly am proud of myself every time I compete floor, not to mention putting all 4 events together and hitting my best on every event. So really happy my family's here and all my best friends are here to share it with me.
Now you get a chance to compete in the Super 6, a chance for a national championship. What does that mean to you and this group?
I'm really excited. As one of the upperclassmen of this team, I think we can do it. I know we can do it. So tonight's performance really showed that, and tomorrow we're going to hit it even harder.
All right, thanks so much, Alex.
Thank you.
Bart.
So the 3 qualifiers from this session are set. It's LSU, Florida, and Alabama, and that score the highest in the all-around semifinal ever for Alex McMurtry. By the way, the overall record in the all-around is a 39-9 in the Super 6 final by Georgia's Courtney Kupets. So there are the final standings here in semifinal number 2. LSU's 198-275 sets a new record for the highest score in the NCAA championship, and they do it in the semifinal. Is this the year for the LSU Tigers? The Super 6 finalists are set. Oklahoma, UCLA, and Utah advanced from semifinal 1 earlier today, and LSU, Florida, and Alabama all impressive tonight. But that 198-275 championship record is to be noted, Kathy.
I'm already looking ahead, though. This is going to be an amazing final. We've said it all along. Oklahoma is so strong on every single event. They're so clean. They're so consistent. They could be better than they were in their semifinals, so they can step it up. LSU was phenomenal, so it's going to be amazing.
Oklahoma scored a 197-725 in the first semi, and they left a lot on the table. So the stage will be set, and we'll wrap this up when we come back to St. Louis.
The NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships is presented by Northwestern Mutual. We help you live life differently.
Crown. Kennedy Edney wins the vault. 6 athletes tied on the bars. Kyla Ross wins the beam. Michaela Skinner and Ashley Nat tie on the floor. And Alex McMurtry, with an outstanding all-around, wins the championship in the individual awards. However, this is all about the team, and they all will admit that. The Super 6 finalists tomorrow: Oklahoma, UCLA, and Utah, LSU, Florida, and Alabama. The stage is set for a great one, Kathy.
This could be the most amazing Super 6 finals you've ever seen. You don't want to miss it.
So for Kathy Johnson-Clark and Laura Rutledge, I'm Bart Connor saying so long from St. Louis. Stay tuned for tomorrow at 9 Eastern on ESPNU when we crown the women's champion. Coming up next, we'll take you to the Sports Center studio.